What's up, everybody? Just getting started over here. Hope you're having a good Monday. I'm having a good Monday. I was actually fishing today. Caught like 10 fish. Well, caught 5. 5 got away, but yeah, I feel like my week's already halfway done. I'm exhausted. Woke up at 5 to go fishing, and here I am here on the live stream. Joe here for Dead Cat Media. We'll get this show going in about a minute or two. Just playing with some buttons on my end, seeing some people in the chat. It looks like we are not going to be on Twitter today. That's okay. Twitter people rarely participate, and I highly doubt they're even watching, so the YouTube chat and the Twitch chat are who I consider to be the participants in this lovely stream. So get yourself a drink. I'm having water. I stopped drinking. I'm trying to lose some weight. Has nothing to do with my liver health or my any health at all. Ambito, nice to have you in the chat. How you doing, buddy? Ambito, I was gonna tell you, I still hold your NFTs. I like your NFTs. Hopefully you'll have time to do some artwork for me at some point, but I do like your style. What's going on here? Now my microphone is not knowing where on the set it wants to be. I guess that'll do. I'll just move up and I'll zoom out. How about that? Booyah. There we go. And Beto, what are you trading this week? I know you got some yield farming kind of like token nobody knows about going on. I'm ready to dive into some actual leveraged longs, I think I'm about to go into some leveraged longs. I had obviously I'm sponsored by Kinetics, who's a perps platform. And I did the space with Nolis, who I really like, Lavana as well. Sounds like Lavana's got just all the features that you would want in a perps platform. I haven't used it yet. Nothing but good things about Lavana is what, coming across my stream of info. But yeah, I'm going to look for an excuse to take some leverage longs. I've taken very few leverage positions. I'm pretty much even on trading leverage. Where I'm not even is AI tokens, where I'm about to cash out completely, and I'll share that trade. But it's that Spectre token. I think I'm going to probably unload the rest of that position. It will be for a $500 investment, it'll be about a 22x if I sell out right now. And I've already sold 2/3 of my position. So pestering Neutron people to boost. So Ambito, is that a pool on Astroport on Neutron? Wrapped, staked ETH and ETH? Is that right? Ooh, man, I'm tired today. Like I said earlier, I went fishing. I'm exhausted, man. Absolutely exhausted. It feels like midweek, but it's Monday. Prices are good though. Can't complain about prices. But let's get this started. We're about 6 minutes in. I'll do my stare at the camera and give the welcome. Welcome everybody to the live stream. Joe here for Dead Cat Media, and Dead Cat Media is a content producing company that features what matters most in Web3, and that's you, the end user, and me as well. All of this wonderful blockchain technology and cryptocurrency technology, it doesn't go anywhere without customers, without users, without the retail trader, and without the early adopter. If you consider yourself in one of those categories or all of them, then you're in the right place for content consuming. And don't get me wrong, I'm not boring. I do enjoy the token speculation. We'll get into a little bit today. And I still make predictions on tokens. I still like the crypto banter on X, especially X Spaces. But as a teacher, I know that there has to be a way to take in all this information, assimilate it, and use it to make money. Most people are getting wrecked now because they don't know what to do with this flood of information, or they're just taking highly speculative gambles, and they will get wrecked very, very, very soon. But as an end user myself, I navigate this crypto world, track important trends, and always focus on what may or may not impact my own bags, my portfolio. So I test out apps, I learn about new tokens. I really like the overarching themes that impact crypto for months or years at a time. That's kind of my thing. But Dead Cat Media is my company that I built so that I can channel all this information to you, the audience, as I navigate this space. If you're here, and you are here, if you're watching this, feel free to support me by subscribing down below. Drop your comments, share the video. If what you have seen or heard today seems like it would help somebody else. And in the description, it's in the description of the video, you could join my Telegram. Gives you more insights into what I do, and also just different ways to win money by engaging in my content. I try to include the audience as much as possible. So that's the spiel. That's the spiel. So, man, Monday, July 22nd, where lots been happening that impacts markets, of course. Drop the music down, but let's look at prices. I think prices is always a good place to start. I'll put some music on, just for the people in the chat. Where do I go here? There we go. That's what I want. So, man, I'm just shocked that these meme tokens are doing so good, and we'll see them. But I like to look at the winners, the losers. I sort by 7-day price changes, and you could see Bitcoin up 6%. Not bad, right? Not bad. When Bitcoin moves more than 3, 4, 5% in a week, there should be other tokens just riding that up as well. And don't forget, this is not financial advice. I'm not a trader. I'm not a financial advisor. I go through, like I said in the intro, information that I think impacts my bags, and you're here along for the ride. Assess your own risk. Do with your portfolio what you want. I post my portfolio on my Telegram. I don't expect anyone to copycat trade me. I don't think that would help you, because I might have different assessments of what's out there, and also different risk tolerance. So do your own research, but of course you could use my channel to help you do your own research. Let's see what we got here. So yeah, meme tokens, dog with hat on Solana, crushing it, up 52% in 7 days. Then we got helium, and I have an article about dog with hat, helium, and core all appearing in the same article. And look, they're 1, 2, and 3 in the 7-day winners. Helium is an Internet of Things focused blockchain. Is that going to come back? Man, I got destroyed on IOTA. I don't know if anyone else has gotten destroyed on IOTA. I think that was like a huge, that came at the end, I think, of the 2017 crypto bubble, let's call it. I remember it got listed on Binance, and I bought a whole bunch like at like $2 or $3, and then I bought it again at like $4. And then that was like pretty much the top, and it went down. I don't even know what it went down to. It's probably like 10 cents now. But Internet of Things, super interesting. Internet of Things needs physical infrastructure to work. So I don't think we're quite there yet on IoT. Losers, VeChain. Man, VeChain is an OG token, can't catch a break. Aave, who's responsible for most of Ethereum's TVL, down 7%. And then Ton down 6%. Man, I wonder if there's a time where me feeling like I'm late, I don't like chasing, I don't FOMO into tokens, if there's a time to just back up the truck on Ton, or look for meme coins on Ton, because apparently there's a lot of liquidity over there. I don't know if you have any tips or insights into that ecosystem, but I should get over there soon and do some poking around. People in the chat tell me I'm late. I don't think I've ever started a stream on time. It's just, guys, I'm off for the summer. I rarely look at the clock. My phone is in like do not disturb mode like 20 hours a day. So starting at 1:03, it's really not that bad for me, actually. I was supposed to start at 12. I move it to 1. 103. It's on time. It's the opposite of Lombardi time, if you know what that is. Lombardi time. Ambito making some suggestions here that I might have to follow. If you wanted to make a video on an interesting protocol, Charm Finance looks like a fresh take on concentrated liquidity. Concentrated liquidity is interesting, right? You would think theoretically, I'm going to write that down right here, Ambito. Charm Finance. I'm guessing that's a DEX on either Solana base or Ton, I'm guessing. Or maybe Arbitrum, one of the other layer twos. We'll find out. I'll look into it. But concentrated liquidity, man, you can get absolutely wrecked with concentrated liquidity. But you would think theoretically it was just like a great idea. So maybe someone will make it work. I would never LP into a CL pool. That's just me. It's hard to follow that. It's basically you're like trading. You got to trade. I'd rather just trade. And Dark Side of the Podcast in the chat. This is how he says hello, damn you. He told me last week, he said it's much better. It's much easier to learn how to trade than to build your own protocol and fleece people out of tokens. It's much easier to learn how to trade. It's probably easier to learn how to trade than it is to learn how to master LPing on CL dexes. But we'll check that out, Ambito. I would like to know more about concentrated liquidity because, man, I understand how Uniswap V3 works, but I don't want to have to look at charts all day just to maintain an LP position. And then, of course, paying the fees to readjust. And in Cosmos, seems like we don't really have great vaults on osmosis because they were kind of handpicked. There's no competition there. Obviously there's other things going on, but yeah, I'll look into that. Thanks for the suggestion there. And by the way, I want to shout out my sponsors before I go any further. This is sponsored by Shade Protocol. Shade Protocol is a front-running resistant DEX amongst a suite of privacy-focused applications. They are really first into the private DeFi narrative. I'm happy to have them as a sponsor. Long-term, I'm bullish on privacy. Privacy is essential for Web3. At least the option of privacy, I would say, is essential. And Shade is right there. They built out a bunch of apps. They do have some liquidity deals, and I have been hoarding the token. So that's Shade on the Secret Network, by the way. Secret Network is the L1 where that resides. It's a Cosmos chain. And then my other sponsor is Kinetics. They are a perps DEX with their own token. The airdrop is live, so you can check if you are supposed to get that. Links for both are down below, by the way. But yeah, there are perps DEX that is now powered by AI. AI is what I think is a natural crossover into crypto. I think that it could be more than just a buzzword, and it has been just a buzzword that has definitely driven token prices, but hopefully some serious AI-powered DeFi applications emerge out of this cycle. So that's Kinetics. It's on the Kava network, which is an EVM. Also connected to Cosmos, but I generally use MetaMask with it, so you don't have to know much about Cosmos to get over there. So let's go to my news. I've got a couple cool things here today. So this is something we missed. And let me get my captions right. Tron. Tron is like the forgotten L1. It's an OG token on an OG chain, one of the first proof of stake networks. I bought the token in like 2018. I think it was like the first hot wallet that I ever made. Pretty sure. But Tron, man, no one knows about it, but somehow they have all this volume, right? And it's related to stablecoins, this article. So this is from about a month ago, June 21st. And you could see Tron has a deal with Tether. They use Tron to issue their USDT, and their volume is comparable to Visa's average daily transactions. And this was at a time where crypto was pulling back a little bit after that February, March surge. So, and here's the news here. It says, according to data from their X account, Look On Chain, I guess an independent analytics service provider, the 24-hour trading volume of Tether on the Tron network surpassed Visa's average. So in one day, Tron did more stablecoin volume than Visa's average dollar volume in quarter one. Not exactly comparing apples to apples here, but you get the idea. You know, Tron has been doing well. The token's been doing well. TRX is the ticker. It's one of the highest by market cap. And we could take a look at it over here. It's TRX. I did have Tron tokens. Yeah, 13%. And if you look at it, it's, it's right there at its all-time high. I kind of want to discount this initial pump because these tokens, they almost always pump initially if they launch, anywhere near a bull market and there's generally a supply squeeze. This is what I would call price discovery. And then this is the next bull market. But you can see that it never quite dipped down to its all-time lows. In fact, it didn't even come close to its all-time lows. It had to drop another 80% or so. But look, this is a slow, nice climb, kind of correlated to Bitcoin's slow climb in Q3 of last year. But this is Tron. And man, $11.6 billion market cap. Not too bad. 24-hour trade volume, almost $500 million. So Tron is still there. I don't know anyone that uses it. I don't know I couldn't name an app. I know that a lot of the apps were named after Justin's son, who's the founder, but maybe Tron needs to get put on the radar. Any place where there's stablecoin liquidity probably needs to get put on the radar. That's one of the big overarching themes that I've been following. And one of the big takeaways that I got from the run up in prices that started in about September last year was that the token prices didn't start to move until stablecoin liquidity started to go up a couple of months before. Oh, we're going to talk about Elon. Oh, we got to talk about Elon. So if you're a crypto bull, and I am a crypto bull, I talk a lot of trash about what I perceive to be just nonsense tokens and protocols. And I truly believe that a lot of the protocols and tokens you see right now, they're going to disappear in some of them in weeks, some of them in months, most of them in the next year or two. Kind of like NFTs, right? A lot of these tokens, they're easier to make than NFTs. They're garbage, right? But if you're a crypto bull overall, and how can you not be when you look at the total crypto market cap, around $2 billion, $2.4 billion, trillion, I should say, 2 to 2.4 trillion. If you see this, you see Elon right before the Bitcoin conference, switching over the profile. I know it's just a profile picture, right? It's silly. But like, how beautiful is that if you're a bull? How beautiful is that? And the Bitcoin conference it's coming up, right? What does it start on? A Thursday? Today's Monday. Yeah, it starts Thursday. It's a 4-day conference over in Nashville. Nashville's a great city for conferences. That's where we had NFT Nashville. But Bitcoin Nashville's there, and you could see some notable speakers, I would say. Former president, not too bad. 2 presidential candidates, not too bad. So why do we pay attention to this? Well, Elon is probably the most influential non-politician in the world, if I had to guess. I mean, he owns X. It's the biggest communications and social media platform out there. It's the easiest one to sign up for and start using right away. You could talk to anybody on X. You could even get, one of these people to respond to one of your tweets. You could interact with them on an X space. It's amazing. He's aligned with Trump and has committed $50 million or $45 million a month to get Trump elected. Trump is looked at as the pro crypto, pro Bitcoin candidate. And there's rumors that I don't want to bring up any articles because I think it's premature, but there are rumors that Trump is in favor of the United States holding some strategic reserves in Bitcoin. That's a rumor right now. I can't confirm that, but that would be absolutely huge. We know Elon likes crypto. We know he really likes Doge. I hold some Doge in honor of Elon, but Bitcoin Nashville, this thing just gets bigger and better, it looks like. And by the way, this is what a crypto conference is supposed to look like. It's not supposed to look like 100 empty seats and then 5 devs looking at their phones while someone presents a PowerPoint of a project that's never going to launch or launches to 0 users. This is what a conference, this is why you would host a conference, is when you have interest like this. And I have no doubt that with ordinals, with BRC20s, runes, all the Bitcoin L2 ideas that are out there now, this has to be the biggest one compared to what already happened in Miami. But we got Trump, and these are the headline speakers. We got Trump, we got RFK Jr., we got Cathie Wood, right? Famous investor. We got Michael Saylor, the biggest Bitcoin bull, maybe the best known Bitcoin whale, right? So it says here he holds 214,000 Bitcoin. Not too bad. Russell Brand, not really sure what his angle is into crypto. I don't follow him too much. I know that he was a maniac when he was younger, and now he's like a boomer like me, kind of a stiff, right? But maybe he's got some vested interest in crypto that I don't know about. Edward Snowden, who's really boring to listen to, but does have some insights. In fact, Edward Snowden is so boring to listen to, he might as well be a Web3 founder. And then Vivek actually didn't know that he was going to speak. He's an outstanding speaker, but obviously he's basically a salesman, right? So he better be an outstanding speaker. I never watched any of these talks, any previous Bitcoin conferences. Always interested in what comes out of it. I was really interested in the last one. Or was it two years ago, where they had the athletes, right? It was Serena Williams. It was an NFL player who was getting paid in Bitcoin through the Strike app. Some of his NFL salary was converted automatically into Bitcoin for the season. But we'll see what comes of this. I'm sure there'll be tons of hype if this man shows up ready to speak. Before we get to the bearish stuff, the still got you guys in the chat, Ambito and Scott. Curious if you guys watch any of the streams related to these Bitcoin conferences. I've never watched them. I find them quite boring. I have watched some Cosmoverse stuff after the fact. I watched the first one I watched was the one in Colombia. I think that was the first one I watched. And then I realized like a year later, half that stuff they talk about is like pie in the sky, like hopium stuff that's either never going to launch or not going to be usable. So I was like, let me wait. Pump the brakes. I'll pump the brakes on all this conference stuff, because the conference should be about like things people can put their hands on, things people can use. People should be downloading apps, using them, or at least having some kind of back and forth with the speakers. And most of these take the form of lectures, which is not that exciting. But anyway, JP Morgan says crypto rebounds ahead are unlikely to be sustained. Now, call me crazy. I think this is bullish. These guys always lie. They always lie. BlackRock was lying. I feel like these big institutions, when they're positioning themselves, I'm not saying they do this, but it's to their advantage to have suppressed prices. Bitcoin's at 67,000. I mean, wouldn't JP Morgan rather it be at 57,000 if they're going to position themselves into Bitcoin, assuming they haven't yet to the extent they would like to? And this is a JP Morgan. This is just an analyst from JP Morgan. An analyst might disagree. saying that these are not long-lived rebounds. And the analyst also expects Bitcoin and gold to benefit from a potential Trump presidency. I mean, this is not rocket scientist. He stands in stark contrast as in favor of the crypto technology, just supporting it. Whereas the other side, I don't see that. I think that they would be more in favor of just taxing it in its infancy, if anything, and stifling the growth. So JP Morgan analyst notes that Bitcoin's current price around 67.5 is high compared to its production cost of 43,000. So I think what they're saying here is, if you're a miner, you might as well just sell everything you're mining at this price of 67.5, which is sell pressure on Bitcoin. And they have some other metric where they are able to compare it to gold. It's still way higher than that. They have Bitcoin at about 53,000, and they call it a volatility adjusted comparison to gold. Look, I don't think Bitcoin's a commodity. I think Bitcoin's value is in the network itself and the security of the network. If that network can be used for something other than sending Bitcoin, Bitcoin's undervalued. If the only thing Bitcoin network can do is send Bitcoin, 67.5 sounds pretty high, right? Because we talk about adoption, institutional buying, retail, all that stuff. But like, what are they buying for? Just because they think it's going to go up? There has to be actual value for this to be sustained. And obviously Bitcoin has first mover advantage. But for me, I don't think Bitcoin is itself as a commodity. Maybe the block space you can consider a commodity in certain times, but that's only if things are being transacted that have value. So maybe if you're a miner, this is a good time to sell, unload, and that will cause, one or two more dips before we do have a sustained uptrend back to the all-time highs, hopefully exceeding the all-time highs. But this is coming from JP Morgan, right? So if they're buying or want to buy, they want the price lower. So it's kind of, I lean bullish here. And like I said in the intro, I'm looking to play with some leverage. I'm just going to look at Bitcoin and ETH probably. But if I'm on the fence, this would push me to, pull the trigger on a leverage trade. Light leverage. No 40x, maybe 5x, 10x, something like that. But yeah, this is their something called their volatility adjusted comparison to gold. And this is in thousands of dollars. And I guess they want it to hover around this middle line here. We're above the line. Yeah, it could go up. It's been higher, but they expect it to come back down to earth. Also for the fact that, like I said before, the miners, they should be selling to pay their expenses now that the Bitcoin price is so much higher than the cost to run the network. Where is everybody today? Chat is especially dead. Is that because I'm not on Twitter right now? I changed my Twitter name and now I lost the blue check mark. I'm not allowed to stream without that blue check mark. I mean, Elon is just, I don't know what the end goal is with the blue check mark, the gray check mark, the gold check mark. Just like, people will pay for it. Obviously, if there's value, I paid for mine. Why can't I stream just because I changed my Twitter name? It doesn't make any sense to me. I don't work for X or Twitter. I still call it Twitter. All right. Going to talk about ETH for a bit. Going to talk about ETH. I found some awesome research on ETH. All right. All right. So some advice for anybody watching that's truly trying to find good information on crypto, like information that's degen free, but also somewhat objective because it's founder free as well. Go on LinkedIn. Go on LinkedIn and follow some accounts that do independent research or pull data directly from the blockchain and present it in some nice, fancy graphs, because that's where I think you'll get some information that you could use to your advantage for longer term horizon type buys and holds. So I listened to a podcast called the DeFi Report, and this will be the second time I reference their work. Their work is great. It really is. And they give you a lot to think about, but they also give you a lot of data that you would have a lot of trouble sourcing yourself. And Michael Nadeau is the host of that podcast, and he, he does these research reports on ETH every quarter, and he listed a whole bunch of takeaways from ETH, which I'll put up on the screen. But what he's basically looking at is the trend of volume, fees, expenses on the L1 versus those same metrics on the various L2s. And what we're going to see is that the L2s actually get used a lot more than the L1. They get used a lot more than the L1, a lot. And number one on the list, and I will bring it up, like I said, active users on L2s are 6 times the number of active users on the L1. Arbitrum and Base are the two kings of the L2s. But it's something to think about, because if there's that much activity and that many users on the L2s, if I'm launching an app, maybe 3 years ago, I would have got burned launching on ETH because the gas fees were killing people. Nobody's going to use my game if they got to pay $50 to do a transaction in the game, right? Whether it's a game, a marketplace, a DeFi protocol, whatever. And I know the big protocols get away with it. That's Aave, that's Compound, that's Uniswap, OpenSea, right? But I think that a lot of these altcoins, this explosion in proof of stake protocols, chains, and tokens happened because ETH was so expensive to transact on, and everyone tried to be different than ETH. Cosmos especially. Tron, ADA, Algorand, all of those. Hey guys, come over here, use our chain. It's not expensive. Cheap transactions, free tokens, airdrops, better tech, faster block times, more transactions per second. Don't use ETH. It's clunky. It's ETH. It's gross. $50 to buy an NFT that's worth 25 doesn't make any sense. Well, guess what? All those chains that were trying to be different than ETH, they made no money because it cost them so much to run the network, and they weren't generating fees, even with a lot of volume and a lot of users, supposedly. I think it's mostly those cheap chains. Solana too, right? Solana, I mean, if something's less than a penny to transact on, you would imagine there's lots of bots, lots of wash trading, and lots of people with 10, 20, 30 wallets. So it's really hard to get an idea of how many real users some of these like basically free blockchains are to transact on. Ethereum's different. Ethereum is expensive to transact on, but that means the transactions should be somewhat important, at least relatively speaking. And when there are lots of transactions trying to be put through at the same time, the gas fees go up. What does that do? It makes block space expensive because it's scarce. That's the real scarcity in crypto. It's not tokens with a max supply. The real scarcity in crypto is Ethereum block space. And I'll argue this with anyone unless they could show me numbers. But To me, the most important or most scarce commodity in all of crypto is Ethereum block space in a bull market. And that's just how it is. That's how it's going to be for a while till someone figures out how to monetize their layer one while doing it better than ETH. Right now, ETH does it right. I hold my ETH. I don't care what's going on over there. If there's drama or whatever, if there are hacks, it doesn't matter. The exploits, I'm holding my ETH because I know they've figured out tokenomics. They figured out how to monetize their block space. But let's look at this research report, because it looks like a lot of that activity is being kicked out to the L2s, and it's going to be interesting to see how this affects the L1. And I'm not saying immediately, but 3, 4, 5 years down the road, is ETH still going to be a good play? Is ETH going to still make money with a lot of the activity kicked out to the L2s? I don't know, but let's look at some stats. Let's look at some stats. Here we go. So let's try to get this so you can see it. This is my LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a great place for crypto data reports. You can see he shares all sorts of stuff. So he basically says every quarter, I spend a couple days combing through the on-chain data and financial performance. When was the last time you've seen a founder share quarterly financial performance? Look, guys, we got daily active users, 100,000 daily active users. Did you make any money off them? 100,000 daily active users. No. The networks have to be sustainable at a certain point, and that's really what I'm interested in here. But here are the takeaways from Michael's report here. I already said active users are now 6 times on the L2 active users are 6 times that of the L1. A lot of people transacting over there. Look at this. ETH fees dropped 679 million in Q2 versus Q1, largely due to tech upgrades at the L2 level. Base did more than double the fees of any other L2. So even though Arbitrum is leading Base in TVL and users and volume, Base is monetizing well. And I guarantee you it's because they're so closely connected to Coinbase. Coinbase is able to kind of capitalize in 2 spots here. Coinbase, I have a video coming about Coinbase and Base. Coinbase might be the linchpin for all of crypto outside of Bitcoin itself, but we'll talk about that another time. L2 fees ended the quarter at 13% of the L1. So the L1 is still responsible for about 85 to 90% of the total fees, and they both came down. It looks like because of this Ethereum improvement protocol, this upgrade 4844. But this is, to me, the big ones here. Cost of revenue for L2s dropped off a cliff in Q2. Think about how much money it costs these other altcoin ecosystems to attract users and keep them there for more than 5 minutes, for more time than it takes to just claim an airdrop. And it looks like this tech upgrade, EIP 4844, just decreased the cost of revenue. And as a result, on-chain margins improved. When was the last time you heard a founder talk about margins? Oh, we got revenue. We got revenue. Revenue is not the same thing as profit. You could have revenue and be hemorrhaging money every day, right? But it says on-chain margins improved dramatically. The combined transactions on the L2s are nearly 9x that of ETH, which is up 4x. And remember, Base launched, I think, Base launched in the fall of last year, but they really took off in April. So Base really, put a charge in this L2 adoption, and I'm not surprised. I'm really not surprised. Coinbase is a tough one because Coinbase you can view as a single point of failure for DeFi and really all crypto, but at the same time, they're a really important on and off ramp, and also a VC platform where they're investing in all these projects. They have a VC arm, and also the base chain, which is their on-chain Coinbase. Cost of transactions dropped due to this upgrade. Arbitrum has the cheapest fees at just over 2 cents, but we saw above Base is killing them on fees collected. So if I'm in the Arbitrum ecosystem, I'm a validator, maybe it's time to slowly increase the fees if we can get away with it. Probably can get away with it. If the average fees are about 2 cents, like 2.1 cents, right? If you have a product that people are willing to pay for, maybe you could test the waters for some more expensive transactions. I'm just throwing it out there. I don't know, but that's what I would be looking at. And in terms of TVL, Arbitrum's got a healthy amount of TVL. It's like 3.3 billion. I think Base has about half that as of June. And then we've got contracts deployed. This is not a surprise. The L2s combined for 10x out of the L1 number of contracts, and Base just dominating developer activity. That's interesting. That's really interesting to me. But this report you could download for free. It goes through all these different visuals, goes through everything from real world assets, on-chain profit and loss, ETH versus Sol. Might want to look at that if you're a big Solana bull. Solana is inflating their token to hell in 2024. I think that there is going to be, some blunting of this upward movement at a certain point. Maybe we're seeing it now with this Sol inflation, but we've got some good info, good takeaways here based on the info that Michael was able to pull. So thanks for making this public, man. This is good stuff. We've referenced them. We've referenced them before, but it's the DeFi Times. There's a podcast. They put out about one episode a week, one episode every 10 days. Let's look at the chat. Scott, I have a theory. Is it a theory or a hypothesis? It's two different things. Most people think they have theories, but they have hypotheses. I think you know the difference. So, and I have a Shark Week, this Shark Week page here. It's here on purpose. We'll talk about Shark Week, but I want to hear Scott's theory. But in the meantime, man, so I mentioned in the beginning, I went fishing today. I've been going fishing. Full moon was yesterday. So this is the time, if you can get out there, is to fish around the full moons for saltwater anglers. And I generally just catch bluefish. Bluefish are like a kind of a sport fish on the East Coast, especially the Northeast. They fight, man. They fight. They don't taste good at all, but they fight. I caught one on Saturday that I kept, and I caught 5 today. I put them all back. As long as I don't beat the fish up, bringing them in, they're not like gushing blood everywhere with their mouths busted open. And these fish do get beat up when you're trying to bring them in because like I said, they fight. So sometimes you bring them in and they're so damaged, you kind of have to keep them. Otherwise, you throw them back and they just die in the water. But Shark Week. So where I live in New York, we have like a huge shark issue the last 2 years. And one of the episodes of Shark Week was talking specifically about shark attacks. So I think there were like no reported shark attacks for a long time. And then in 2021, there was 1 or 2 incidents where people swimming at the beach got bit by sharks. Not sure if anyone actually died, but generally sharks, I'm a science teacher, so I'll break it down for you. Sharks are not hunting human beings. They're just not. Sharks are not hunting human beings. Sharks are mistakenly attacking human beings, and then they usually spit them out. That's why you see these shark bites. The teeth go in, and they don't rip a chunk of flesh most of the time out of the person. But if it's a big enough shark, or they bite you in the wrong place, you can die just from bleeding out. It's very rare that you get eaten by a shark when you're involved in a shark attack. A lot of times it's surfers. They look like seals when the sharks are looking up, right? So the Long Island thing was scary because they had no shark attacks for the longest time. and then they have one or two in like 2021, and then they have 6 or 7 in 2022, and then last year there were like 6, 7, 8 attacks. And in the episode, they were trying to identify the type of shark, trying to figure out why are these people all of a sudden getting attacked at the beach, in like 2 feet of water. It's not even like beyond where the waves break. People getting attacked thigh high water, and they're trying to identify the species. So they use, they use what they know about shark behavior and what's found in the waters here. And there are great white sharks here in New York. It's where Jaws was filmed. Actually, Jaws was filmed um, in Montauk, which is like 2 hours from where I live. Anyway, get to the point. Land this plane. So they figured out they were probably baby sand tiger sharks, and they could tell by the shape of the bite and the shape of the individual tooth marks in the victims. They were getting bit in the legs. So why is this scary? What they know about sand tiger sharks is they give birth live, and while the babies are growing inside the mother, there's room to swim around in there. And what happens is some of the sharks, I don't know how many, let's say the sand tiger shark, 100 eggs get fertilized. As they're growing inside the mother, the ones that mature really fast, they just start eating the other ones inside the mother still. So they're eating the brothers, the twin brothers and sisters. And this is scary because they have they show no discrimination whatsoever. They will just attack anything when they're juveniles. So they think that all these shark attacks are juvenile sand tiger sharks that can't discern between prey. And that's scary for a predator to not be able to discern between prey when you're me going fishing. And I do surf fish where I'm in like waist deep water sometimes. And what's cool about surf fishing is you could do it until like January. It doesn't matter how cold it is. So anyway, I don't know if Ampito said he's listening. You're the only one. 39 people just stopped subscribing to my channel because they just don't care about sharks, or they live in landlocked areas where they're just like, they have no chance of coming in contact with a shark except at the grocery store. But anyway, I wanted to bring this out to you just to, you get to learn more about my deepest, darkest fears. And I think like getting attacked by a shark is like got to be up there for everybody. And I don't know, maybe having to have a conversation with John Cena about sharks is the worst, man. I don't know. I got no opinion in John Cena. We're talking about wrestling in one of the streams with Scott, Dark Side of the Podcast. We're talking about wrestling, and I don't think John Cena even came up until the very end. But anyway, Shark Week, it's over. You could check out what they published. Tons of cool stuff. And I don't remember what episode it was. I think it was this one, Deadliest Bite. And yeah, people in New York were getting attacked by sharks left and right. Trying to avoid getting bitten by a shark while I'm fishing. That's all I'm saying. What else we got up top? We're talking in the chat a little bit about Yeah, we're waiting for Scott's theory here. Scott wants to know if you got Android. If you got an Android phone out there, there is an actual consumer crypto app called Aegis, Aegis. It is a private data storage app that will automatically back up your files on your devices, and it's got a bunch of blockchain stuff running in the background, and you will never know about it. So if you're into crypto, this might not even interest you because you want crypto stuff. You want like seed words and like, failed transactions and hacks and bridge exploits. I get that. I want that also. But if you want privacy and secure data, and you don't care if you see the crypto part of it, then we're going to be talking a lot about this app called Aegis in the coming weeks, because it's just an awesome idea. And your 75-year-old grandparent could use it because there's no crypto. It's just like a regular app. You download it, click, 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 you use it, and you're storing your files securely and privately using Jackal protocol, using Akash with the option to use a VPN. The VPN is Sentinel. All right, I got one more thing for you guys, and we're going to end it. What do we got? Yeah, I mentioned this article. I'll link it down below. Just talking about the crypto winners, right? Whiff, Dog with Hat, and Pepe, just blasting off these meme tokens. This one here was this Helium and Core. I'm not familiar with Core, but I did mention earlier, Helium is an Internet of Things focused network. I don't know if that's going to be a thing. I don't think it's going to be a thing anytime soon, but it's doing well. So maybe big developments you might want to look into. What's up, Michael? Nice to have you in the chat here. Oh, wanted to talk about this, guys. I mentioned it in a previous stream, but this is Big 3. It's an NFT collection that is used to fractionize ownership of professional basketball teams. This is a 3-on-3 professional basketball team, and I was going to link this down below because 2 years ago they minted NFTs. 2 different tiered NFTs that granted different ownership rights to, as a fan / part owner of the basketball team. And these are the logos of the different teams. And I went 2 weeks ago to see this because my friend owns one of these NFTs and he could transfer it to me. So I went. You get VIPs, VIP catering, free drinks, free food, all that. You get to sit courtside. The DGods team, the DGods NFT community did buy one of these teams outright. So they have all the NFTs. And I don't remember, is it Three-Headed Monsters? I don't know who their team is, but they were there in full force. So, yeah, I just wanted to throw out some of these perks that you get with the NFT, because a lot of NFTs are lacking utility. They're almost boring. They're on every blockchain, and I'm kind of disappointed that the tech is not being used for better stuff. But check this out. If you own these NFTs, and there's 2 different tiers, so keep that in mind. Access to weekly calls with your team to talk strategy leading up to each game. Could you imagine you're a general manager of a professional sports team and your fans, you have to sit through a call with your fans to take pointers from people who just sit there and drink beers and yell things at the court? You can do this with NFTs now, and the league is called Big 3. Weekly video calls with referees to discuss rules and how you think their calls impacted the last game. Could you imagine being a referee and having to sit through one of these calls with drunk, out-of-shape fan who maybe played basketball 1 year in high school, telling you about your calls and how you screwed them up on their parlay that week while they were just sitting there drinking, eating free chicken fingers? The unique opportunity to connect with Commissioner Clyde Drexler. Clyde Drexler is a legend if you're my age, as well as league founders, Ice Cube, and I don't know, I'm going to butcher this name, Jeff Quaninitz. Oh man, that's definitely not right. The founders of the league. And there's other stuff too. Season and weekly player coach awards. You get to vote on player of the game award. Sometimes the fans get to vote. The NFT holders get to vote on the uniforms for the week. Get to vote on all-star participants. I don't know if you're a baseball fan, but they let anybody vote for the all-stars. You got kids 5 years old sitting there filling out all-star ballots at an MLB game. That should never happen. You should have to buy an NFT and make it count, right? You get to vote on the highlights, all that stuff. But yeah, I wanted to throw this out there. If you are bored with NFTs, check out Big 3. I don't own one, but my friend transfers it over to me when they're in town. They travel to different cities in the United States, like Dallas, Tampa, New York, Chicago. I forget where else. Oakland. So yeah, an actual NFT that does something That should be headline news. But let's end with this. This got to be the tweet of the century here. Well, the tweet of 2024, let's say. The tweet of 2024. So, obviously, it's not news. Joe Biden dropped out. Trump in complete control of the polls. He's a pro-crypto candidate, pro-Bitcoin. He's speaking at Bitcoin Nashville. It's probably going to be awesome whether you like him or not, right? I don't care if you like him or not. You don't need to care if I like him or not either. But if you have a significant percentage of your net worth in cryptocurrency, you kind of need Trump to pump your bags. But anyway, this is a tweet. Man, this is funny. Joe Biden dropped out. Kamala Harris is the nominee. I don't think she's going to actually be the nominee. I don't think you could have a candidate drop out and not replace the whole ticket. To me, it doesn't make sense. And I don't think that she's well liked at all. And, data from the primaries in 2020 support this. So here's this guy. This is from Wall Street Silver. It's the only reason why I saw this tweet. Republicans are terrified of Kamala Harris. She's younger than Donald Trump, smarter than Donald Trump, is a better speaker than Donald Trump, a better debater than Donald Trump, and a better communicator. Man, this has to be satire. But this was the GOP's biggest nightmare. Listen, I think that maybe the Democrats have been secretly piling into crypto and they just want Donald Trump to win. And in the meantime, some of the big Twitter personalities will gaslight for engagement. I get that. But Trump is not a good speaker. He's funny, but he is not a good speaker. He is light years ahead of Kamala Harris, who can't talk at all. She's smarter than Donald Trump. How do you figure that? I mean, do some research into how she got her start in politics, right? Donald Trump, I know how he talks. I know he's offensive. Guy built a massive real estate empire. How many lifetimes would it take Kamala Harris to take a $10 million loan and turn it into $10 billion in real estate? Almost nobody can do that. Almost no one has done that. But anyway, I think this is funny. I hope that this is the Democrats signaling let's just let Trump win, let him pump the markets, let him pump crypto, and then we'll just impeach him in the second year. I don't know. But anyway, that is the stream. That is the stream for today. Thanks so much for joining. Appreciate you, Ambito, Michael, Darkside, everybody else in the chat. Have a great rest of the day. We'll see